We're live.
Let's get on with it.
Shane, you're too old to have driven here, really.
I
am too old to have driven here, but
you would have liked it.
Yeah!
Shaggy wasn't fast enough to get to Formula One.
Drivers streaming down into turn one, and already Wilco looks like he's got the jump on Albert and takes the lead, but Albert is not done with yet. He's going to go around there. Sexy Rexy, yibbida folks, down there in fourth, and all the while this is giving Wilco the chance to pull out in front. Themselves up here in the opening lap, but Bob, it's been hectic, but not quite as hectic as what I thought it would be. Down the inside of Sideways, is it going to work, Bob, or is it going to end in tears? I think it's come off. Yes, it has. And it's Wilco with a nose in front as we come through to complete the lap. Sideorg, our winner from last week and championship leader, King in there as well. And don't tell me Wilco could have gone from first to third in a matter of corners here, Bob. I reckon he's lost the lead and he could be down to third by the end of the opening lap. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're watching.
Oh my goodness,
right around the world, ladies.
Jeez, what am I doing with my life? 4 months.
Ladies and gentlemen, fantastic to have your company. Rain of Fire. Just subscribe. Geez, what am I doing with 4 months of my life? Well, I've got to say, as Piston Broke Racing with HSV at the wheel, getting a little bit out of shape there. And need to turn these things either off or down. And there we go. It is so loud coming through the headset there. I beg your pardon, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting the audio fixed up, but we are ready to go. This is round 3 of the Australia-New Zealand Endurance Series. And tonight, or this weekend, I should say, tonight it's qualifying. And this weekend, it is the 4 hours, the kit buyers 4 hours of Watkins Glen, as we see the drivers out on track. 30 minutes of qualifying coming your way before the top 10 shootout. This is the official qualifying session, and the top 10 progress through to the shootout. We're going to have the lobby reset. 8 minutes of practice for the drivers to load in before the top 10 shootout, of course, at 8:45, which we're running a little bit over time. But anyway, where else would you rather be, as I welcome my co-commentator back for another week. We've gone 6 hours at Spa, and we've almost lost our mind. We did the social race last week, but he's back, the Nigerian Prince, Cameron Norris, all the way from SA. Good evening to you.
Good evening, how are we?
Absolutely career best form, and I've got to say, Voodoo, as I welcome you to the chat, a lot of work going in to put this all together, this endurance series, the Australia-New Zealand Endurance Series. You can see here, Prince, that the turnout, once again, is exceptional. I think we've got, is it almost 40 drivers here for this weekend?
Yeah, massive stack of drivers turning up for this one. You know, whether it's Watkins Glen bringing the drivers out, or whether it's starting to gain traction, who knows, as we've got Captain Risky taking a bit of a detour there.
And Captain Risky has detoured all the way back to the pits and out again. And, of course, Captain Risky, after the famous is it the AAMI insurance adverts that played many, many years ago, has let us know, Ajax Spray and Wipe says, get the side org. And Andrelli says, appears the telecast graphics from 1.9 look better. That's for sure. As well, we've got a couple of guys racing here with Shaky and Captain Risky, and we saw times in the mid 144s for practice, and Captain Risky and Shaky have shaked their way into those very hard. I thought they were polystyrene, Voodoo, but they looked a little bit harder than that, judging on that impact.
Yeah, no, you definitely can't park there.
And there's no coming back from that, except via the emergency room and intensive care. Good evening, Beaky. Good evening, good sir, from Afghanistan. No race tonight, only qualifying tonight. We'll just recap for you, Ajax, as we look at Sofa King. 30 minutes of qualifying here, of course, Prince. And then the top 10 will progress to the shootout, which is a top 10 shootout, of course. Blue flag rules. Move over off the racing line, let the car behind go. Only the driver doing the shootout needs to load in. Once they're in, any teammates can load in if they want. P10 in the qualifying session will go first, Prince. And when the car starts their flying lap and goes through turn 1, the next car in order goes to the track. We don't need to keep going on with that because that's all boring stuff, isn't it, Prince? We need to find out what's going on the track as we've got a yellow flag.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what the yellow flag's about. But the reverse grid order for your top 10 shootout, I do like the way that that's run. And, they run it in many real world series as well. And I'm just looking forward to seeing who's going to be in there. I mean, we've got the 44s appearing. I'd expect people, once they've got a bit of clean air, might be a bit further into the 44.
As you can see there, welcome to you, Ajax, Sidehawk, and Twitchy for Hooncorp.
Ooh.
As don't worry about that because there's an ambulance right at that corner, Prince. So there'll be some medical attention there. 144.775 is the provisional pole position time, as Nemo, all the way from New Zealand, says that Ferrari is a little bit OP. And Nemo, who is one of the long-time family members here at KRL, was with us right for the first race. Did you know that, Prince? Way back in Long Beach in 2018. Don't forget to follow the stream. I can see you lurking. A little OP is generous. As 194 followers here tonight. Don't forget to get amongst it as Keaton goes to the top of the times. And these are the times we were seeing, Prince, in free practice. 144.570. I think that might have been almost an identical time to what we saw Keaton for BCG2 Racing do in practice. And then 5, look at that, not even a tenth of a second, half a tenth back to Zest 1. So this is getting very competitive at the top here. And this track, as we can see, 28 degrees ambient, 25 degrees ambient, 28 degrees track temperature. This is going to be an interesting one here. And what is the time? Let's have a look further back down the field. Mac Miller, 4 tenths off of pole position. That's looking very nice indeed. And the turnout there, Jono in the pits, Captain Risky, yet to set a time along with Jono, Heath and Shaky. Shaky back out on track after that massive, massive incident. That is not the ideal start to qualifying for them, Prince.
Yeah, no, not the ideal start, but they've still got 23 minutes on the clock to get it done. I'm hoping they can get somewhere up the front. Throw a bit of mix in. We've got a lot of Ferrari, a lot of McLaren in the top 10. Let's get some of these other manufacturers up there.
As you can see, Shaky there. It would be nice. It's very much McLaren and Ferrari inside that top 6, and then we've got OGT. And good to see a Porsche up there as well. Another great name in motorsport. And there's a lot of them. Dask, Team 77. Love that livery. It looked pretty good up at Mount Panorama last week for the KRL Social Race. It looks even better here at Watkins Glen. Very technical circuit. What's your experience with this one, Voodoo Nigerian Prince? Because you can see there that chicane, it's a tough one. And just getting that approach speed right and finding your braking point is difficult. But what are some of the key challenges around this old school track here at Watkins Glen?
Or a lot of my experience, I kind of find myself somewhere in a wall or, sideways somewhere. So my experience doesn't really go much further than that. But definitely a keen flat foot through a majority of these sections is ideal, and making sure that you're light-footed when you need to be.
And usually how my evening ends as well, Prince, and that's not even on the track. Usually in a wall somewhere, or Dask there through the chicane and Shakedown. The Shakedown boys very close to your heart, Prince. In one of only 3 BMWs tonight, the number 48 there. They're sitting just inside the top 10 as BB450. Good evening, gentlemen. First time chatter, and if you're a first time chatter, you know what you need to do. You need to follow this stream. It would be great to have you along for the ride. Qualifying tonight here on the Kid Buyers Twitch channel. Don't forget, Sunday is the big one, the big 4 hours of Watkins Glen, sponsored by Kid Buyers. I think we're sponsoring it, Voodoo. We are the title sponsor, but we'll have to...
Fantastic!
And there we have it. BB450 has joined the family, and Prince, that brings us ever closer to that magical, mythical milestone of 200 followers. We're on to 195 at the moment. But as you can see, my goodness, look at these times. Prince, a 144.032. Hot, hot, hot pace.
Yeah, that's very, very impressive. I mean, are we going to be seeing the 43s? You know, we see the 43s on the PC, so it's interesting, and I'm keen to see whether we're gonna crack it. It's competitive times.
As you can see there, what a hole, wall with a hole in it. Ajax, don't you dare, as we tick under 20 minutes in qualifying. Keaton on a good lap. Did he get some slipstream, or did he get impeded by that car as he comes across the line? I think it was Heath, who is well down the field. Keaton on a good lap, says Nemo. We're going to check out Keaton. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to use your kid coins. And I know that Nemo's not going to be too happy because we've upped the team radio beep. Doodle-it. And you can highlight your message for 1,000 coins.
Suck my balls, mate.
Suck my balls, honey. And you can highlight your message for 1,000, or you can choose to ride on board for 500. And I'm probably going to be wishing that I never told them that in 5 or so minutes' time, as Megan Markle.
Come on, where's the blue flags? Do I have to try to overtake him or what?
And BB getting amongst it. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. It's great to have you along, and you too, Beaky. You know I love you, but with 18 and a bit minutes, Twitchy. We've seen it. We've seen 143.912. And I don't want to say, are we going to see anyone beat that time? But this is some serious pace. We've got 5.5 seconds covering the field right down to BCG1 and Sidor yet to set a lap. Interesting stuff here, Prince, with 8.5 minutes to go.
Okay, you're really good, mate.
Yeah, very interesting. Sidorg hopefully will get a bit of a free lap in. He does look like he's got a lot of free air in front, so hopefully he can get the lap that he wants in. But the 43s, though, that's impressive. That's impressive. Ferrari OP.
Almost close to superior PC Assetto Corsa times as well, and that's something that I'm going to be jumping onto, the PC version, of course, Voodoo, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Sidorg having a moment there through the chicane, not the first driver to do that, and OP Ferrari certainly is the case as Team Little Bear swoops through there, but Sidorg not continuing on with this lap. Shaky down there in 18th, F1 Sniper. As you can see down there, let's go Hooncorp. Sad to be missing this round. Thank you, Lewis. Gets in there, Lewis. And 20 people now watching the stream. Each one of them is watching it here on your Friday night. I've got to say, let us know in the chat where you're watching it from, because we can see Twitchy still out on the circuit. Traffic seems to be a little bit of an issue, but there's plenty of space out there as he gets past Dask. Twitchy for Hooncorp Racing there, Zest. And I think some of these top guys might be getting ready to come out of the pits. You can see there on your track map, Nigerian Prince, that they're coming out potentially for another run here.
Yeah, it looks like some of them are picking that right time to come out, get a fresh lap in, and hopefully try and boost themselves into that top 10 shootout, because, you know, the last thing you want to be doing is sitting in pit lane and be like, oh, 16 minutes, we'll park it. You know, you can see people are getting quicker and quicker as the session goes on. So, you know, keep getting out there, keep putting those laps in. You never know.
And you never know, as 16 minutes remaining in this one, 143.921. And Beaky is in it. Karingal, that's it, not Frank Ghanistan. And may we please look down the grid at all. We can look down the grid to BB. If you've got some points, let us know who you want to see. Doing well, the Nigerian Prince says, I'm doing well. Thank you. And yes, that is awesome as shakedown for Saint Sim. Let us know, BB, as Wilco, it's your birthday. I mean, Wilco's brother. And Cam needing to know the name of the birthday boy there as I threw you under the bus again, Cam. I've done it, I've done it again. But, well, with friends like this, who needs enemies? But 15 and a half minutes to go in qualifying. Captain Risky well down the field. Sorry for the late entry, says Wilco. Kings sitting in P6 so far. Stu Wilson still has some time in him, says Cloakade. We'll keep an eye on that. Rain of Fire, can't complain, my friend, as we are halfway through qualifying. Carrum Downs being represented. Apparently there's a 20-kilo beer keg somewhere around there in Carrum Downs, and that's, well, if you go at 2 litres an hour, that's going to be gone very quickly, Prince. So a big night in Carrum Downs.
Yeah, it does sound like it's going to be a big night. Quite seedy by the sound of tomorrow morning. So, you know, hopefully they're going to be having us up on a big screen somewhere.
Hopefully. I think we've just made the iPad. I think the football's on the big screen. But if you can hear us there in Carrum Downs, get us on the bloody TV and cast us, whatever you need to do. You know how it works, Voodoo. I'm 35 and still play my DVD player, but nothing wrong with DVDs, of course, as we know, because there's some fine collections there. As Fly Sky, is this man flying solo again? We saw this in Spa, didn't we, before he went absolutely insane, and I think he might be flying solo again here for Liqui Moly Racing.
Yeah, I wonder if he is. You know, we've got our hats off to our solo drivers, but hopefully he's at least got somebody this time, but we'll see.
We shall see. It's only 4 hours, not 6. That's little consolation if you are Fly Sky, as we're going to take a look at the drivers lower down the order. And we've heard that this man has still got some pace in him for CFD Racing. Stu Wilson in the 572 BMW. Here he comes. Long sweeping corner approaching the ankle, and he'll soon be approaching the tip of the toe, which is the technical term we like to call this part of the circuit here at Watkins Glen, home of the United States Grand Prix and many, many other racing series over the last 50 or 60 years. Beaky says, go, go, go! There we go. He needs one from me. And don't forget to use your kid coins if you want to hear more of that action. But Stu is doesn't look to be going too quick, or I could be wrong, but it's very tight from inside to get inside that top 10. It's very tight here, isn't it, Prince? And these drivers are going to have to get busy with it in the next dozen or so minutes.
Yeah, the times are looking very competitive. You know, we've got a couple of the lads just in the top 10 that have currently parked it. That, you know, I would be considering going back out because, you know, I look down to, you know, around the top 15, and you know, I feel like any of those drivers, given the right opportunity, the right lap, is going to be in that top 10. So yeah, final 12 minutes, it's going to be fight or flight.
It's going to be anybody's ball game. Thank you, no worries at all, Beaky. As you can see, FTSC Motorsports have put in an offer. This is breaking news from Andrelli to Liqui Moly to purchase Fly for the rest of the season. He's driving for his future, this man, potentially, as Fuller boy. Let's go CFD. Shawnee Fuller, my man. Big shout out to you. We did some 5-lappers, as that is using every single piece of the track. If you don't mind, track limits and more. Will Star up there. Will I Am in the 27 Ferrari. Great to see Shawnee Fuller there. And that man, we did some 5-lappers together on F1 23 a couple of weeks ago. Great fun. As Low NZ for Piston Broke is off the track. And he is still off the track. We'll check that out. And the only way to get back onto the track is to get off the grass, and that sounds fairly obvious, Voodoo, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it as he's parked up alongside the Armco there.
Yeah, I wonder where he had that moment. Maybe he had a bit of an accident in the bus stop and tried to limp it around, but yeah, unfortunately it's a little bit too much. So yeah, thankfully in the virtual world here we can teleport back to pit lane and have a fresh car.
As Captain Risky down there in 17th. How many BCGs have we got here, Prince? We've got BCG 1, 2 and 3, and this is, well, he's living up to his name, Captain Risky. Great to have you with us. Nemo for BCG, and that is, how are the track limits here, Prince? Because we're seeing some of these drivers using every piece of the circuit and then some, as we see Captain Risky coming around now. Oh, there's something wrong with that car, and he's stopping on the track. He's stopping on the track. It looked like he may have gone over, did he go over some debris or something? And I've got to say that if he did go, it's a bit like the cheese factory that exploded in France. Voodoo, if you've heard about that one. All that was left was debris. And that luckily nobody was injured in that explosion. But I'm just digressing for a moment, because now we're less than 10 minutes into this with 10 minutes remaining, I should say, in this qualifying session.
Oh, God!
Michael Schumacher hits David Coulthard, and that's I think that's what that's from. Mark, what is there? Was a 10-year-old kid Byers watching that race, and Vert Vierler. Oh, God damn it, a dad joke. I didn't get much response from my co-commentator there, so I just pushed on regardless. As Jason says, on board with Binger, please. Well, he knows what he...
Shame you're too old to have driven here, really. I am too old to have driven here, but...
Yes, it's called a motor race, okay?
Shame you wasn't fast enough to get to
We
Formula
went to
1.
car racing.
As Jason forgetting how we do things here at KRL, a little bit disappointing there. He wants to go on board with Binger and not using his coins, but that's okay, because save those coins. We are on board with Binger now, and less than 9 minutes remaining now, and he's gone on board. So there we go. He's redeemed his car ride, and that's better. And you can see, if you look really closely at those kit coins, there's a little K in them. As Nemo now, as Binger is in P6 now for Kings Racing. And please, let's just have a look at what's going on here. Oh, apologies, Voodoo.
No, you're good. I was just looking. Are P7 and P8 identical lap times? Or am I seeing things?
I think that we will get back to that in a moment, as we're going to keep going through here. Binger, my Bingerling. And let's just get back to Binger now and change the camera.
I don't mind this new McLaren. It handles a little bit different. I broke the old one quite a bit, and I tried this new one a little while ago, and it handles a little bit differently, but it's nice. So I need to put more time into it, but you know, looks like Binger's finding himself to be quite comfortable in it.
And we know you're beautiful, Wilco, but yeah, talk us through it. It's the number 19 McLaren as he comes onto the start-finish straight. Let's have a look at this time. What's it going to be? A 1:44.905, which is still P6. So there you have it. As we still ride on board here. Beautiful circuit, this one. Very undulating track, as we've got a yellow flag out somewhere. Very nice lap from Binger there. We're going to head back to see what's happening, and identical times between 7th and 8th. You are absolutely spot on, because they are identical times, and Fly Sky, the man flying solo there, getting ahead of BCG1. That's a very big result here in qualifying.
Yeah, that's going to be good for him, you know. Hopefully the pressure doesn't as we see a bit of a moment there, and you know, hopefully it doesn't amount to too much pressure for him. You know, 4 hours solo, it's going to be a good challenge, but you know, he's setting himself up to be in a good position.
And he's off as Andrelli wants to ride on board for a lap. Should have put ride just to go to them on the TV, but less than 6 minutes remaining now. Can anybody beat a 143.912? Let us know, Andrelli, who you want to ride on board with, and we will do that. We'll put you in the queue, like being at the cheese counter. Will.i.am nearly hit the wall to give yourself some black-eyed peas, and how good is that? He's up and about, isn't he? Doc Brown and Marty McFly. And see what I did there, Trev? I certainly did. But who are we going to look at now, ladies and gentlemen? Because with 5 minutes remaining in qualifying, do not go anywhere. Because let's got turn 0. Change of the guard Ferrari. These comments are flooding in. Wilco up and about down there. Old Kegs, Wilkinson, Doc Brown. Oh, I don't know, Marty. Oh. And... yeah, that wasn't that great, was it? But less than 5 minutes remaining in this one. Get your comments coming in. And who are we going to look at now, please? Hang on, we've got to wait and see who's on a lap. Traffic is going to be an issue, but they look fairly spread out here on the track map, Cam, with a couple of few minutes left in qualifying here. They're going to have to get out and get these laps in, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to have to be pushing and doing everything they can at the moment to just secure their spot into that top 10, because, you know, a few tenths here or there can nudge your way in. You know, you only just need to be in that top 10 to make it through to the shootout. So hopefully some of these guys are pushing for the best possible lap with 4 minutes to go.
So time is ticking down, and we'll keep an eye. Look how close it is to get into the top 10 shootout. You can see 1.6, just a tenth.
Oh, we've gone quicker.
Between Stu and, my goodness me, Hooncorp.
Go!
Oh, how good. Cameron Nemo just subscribed. And how good is that? Do you remember when I set him up at Spa, Cam? Do you remember from one Cam to another? Do you remember when I set him up at Spa and I said, oh, how's life, Nemo? And he goes, oh, yeah, pretty good. You set me up there, Trev. You floggers, twitchy. And gee whiz, 143.715. My Jesus, goodness gracious me, that is quick. And I'm sure you could put Jesus in one of these cars and I could live to be 150 even, or 2,000 years old, and I still would not go as quick as that around this circuit. They are superior PC master race times here, Prince.
Yeah, very, very competitive times, you know, but you're just getting into the groove at the last minute of the qualifying session. So, you know, I'm interested to see whether he's actually going to, you know, perform to what we've seen now in the top 10 shootout. Because 43.7, that's very, very competitive.
We might get back to that as we had a yellow flag there at the tip of the toe of the boot on the shoe part of the circuit. Keaton now 5 tenths off. We were fancying Keaton to be right up there, weren't we, in practice, Nigerian Prince? I believe he got mid 144s, but when you consider the times that we've seen in the last half an hour, it really goes to show you that these boys have got some extra pace. Zesty 1 FTSC and Rigsy 1314 as that yellow flag is out again. You know I have a strange fascination, Voodoo, with the animated marshals at the side of the track, and sometimes their habits are a little bit odd. As turn 0, I do beg you, have I just forgotten? I think I've forgotten about Andrelli. And I do apologise, Andrelli. We're going to have a quick look at turn 0. Turn 0 racing here. Sorry to flick through so quickly. Turn 0, where are you? Let's have a look. And oh, Keaton, big crash here. Big crash, and there's some damage there as well. He's gone straight back to the pits. As we are going to look, we're going to ride on board. We're going to do more than look. We're going to ride on board here. With Team Little Bear. And look out for HSV here. Who makes this top 10? It's going to be close. We might go back to the main broadcast screen to see what's going on for that final top 10. And fair bit of practice has been going on here as there's yellow flags out again. We might have to cut from this, I think, because we've got a big final minute coming up here soon, Prince.
Yeah, all these yellow flags popping up. It seems like everyone's pushing and pushing.
We'll get back to that.
Utmost.
We'll get back to that. Apologies for cutting across you there,
You're
Prince.
good.
But Andrelli, we'll get back to your lap in a second because we've got a big last minute or so coming up here. Who's going to make it for a lap, a final run? I think Twitchy's coming across the line. He is, and the foot slowly getting there. And Twitchy that could be it for Twitchy, a 143.6. So it was 143.7. They've gone even quicker as well there, Prince, as we see these drivers starting their final runs.
Yeah, these Ferraris are, just dominating at the moment. We've got 5 of them in the top 10. So it must be just a Ferrari thing. My experience on PC, the Ferrari was quite quick here, but at the end of the day, I think it's down to the driver. So Twitchy though, the 43.6, that's very, very impressive.
And as we take a look at Zest 1, we've got Twitchy in the pits. Keaton's also in the pits. Fly Sky is in the pits as well. We've got Stu OGT and Messick in the pits. And where's the parody? And BB, our latest follower, says, my money is on the prancing horse for pole. And Enzo Ferrari would love that if he were alive. And I'm sure he is alive in some other realm, some sort of deity or entity. What's that stuff? DMT? No, we won't talk about that. But I'm not going on a trip. But I tell you who is going on a trip. Twitchy. And can Zest 1 get, can he improve? Can he get 4/10 out of that 27 Ferrari? That's the question, as we are officially done for qualifying. And who's first over the line? I think it might be this man, Voodoo.
Yeah, Zest might take us over the line here. But, nonetheless, he's secured himself into the top 10 shootout, with an impressive time himself.
Oh.
So, 4/10 is going to be a big one to jump for the actual run.
And we're going to take a look. Zest 1 into the wall. Figo, or is it Figo? Depends how I'm feeling, which side of the bed I like to get out of. Pony Club Racing here. Round the final couple of corners, the 46 Ferrari, 8/10 exactly off the pace. And Jono, good to see Figo up there, says Beaky. Jono Stan, good to see you as well. Across the line, that looks pretty good as we take a look at my Binger King. Across the line, stays in 7th. And those times, Sideorg there, BCG1 and Team 77, those times staying equal as well. But more importantly, Voodoo, they're both into the top 10 shootout here tonight.
Yeah, that's it. They've been identical for quite a while. None of them could go quicker. So, I wonder whether we're going to see a replica of the duplicate times in the top 10 shootout that's coming up.
As Sideorg there says, good point. The slowest Ferrari is in P6. So it's obviously not an Audi circuit, Porsche either, but Sideorg, Fuller Boy, well done, Stu. Banging lap, look. First time, quali, and into the top 10. Nemo says, up the Warriors! And yeah, how's life, Nemo? Yeah, pretty good, Trev. And Simon, there's only 5. There's a few Kiwis in the chat. I better be a little bit mindful of that accent, Prince. But we have, if I'm following the rundown sheet here, there we go, the order as follows. You can see there, it's just come through there, Andrelli. And we've got CFD, Team 77, and the rest of them. But so only the driver. We're going to do a reset now. The lobby will be reset for a shootout. And we are following time beautifully. 8 minutes of practice to load in following the top 10 shootout, which we're going to have at 8:45 Eastern Time. And only the driver doing the shootout needs to load in. And it looks like we've been booted here, Prince. So we might go to a commercial break before we come back and jump into the lobby. Oh, yeah, Trev. Okay then, Trev, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, oh yeah.
Oh dear. I had another joke, but I won't go with it because we are going to reset. We're going to do our thing, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just a few moments. This is the Australia-New Zealand Endurance Series Round 3 of the Championship from Watkins Glen. It's the 4 hours, the Watkins Glen Kid Bias 240. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Come on, let's get on with it. 3, 2, 1, we're almost ready. Are you ready? Go, go, go! Green, and away we go. Summer Series 25 drivers streaming down into turn 1, and already Wilco looks like he's got the jump on Albert and takes the lead, but Albert is not done with yet. He's going to go around there. Sexy Rexy, yibbida, folks, down there in 4th, and all the while this is giving Wilco the chance to pull out in front. Themselves up here in the opening lap, but Bob, it's been hectic, but not quite as hectic as what I thought it would be. Down the inside of Sideways, is it going to work, Bob, or is it going to end in tears? I think it's come off. Yes, it has. And it's Wilco with a nose in front as we come through to complete the lap. Sideorg, our winner from last week and championship leader, King in there as well. And don't tell me Wilco could have gone from 1st to 3rd in a matter of corners here, Bob. I reckon he's lost the lead and he could be down to 3rd by the end of the opening lap. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh! No, it's not Big Daryl Eastlake, it's you, yours truly, Kid Bias. But no, seriously, in all seriousness, we are ready for the top 10 shootout. We've had the 30 minutes of qualifying to set the top 10 shootout, the order for the top 10 shootout. And it will be CFD, and then Team 77, BCG1, Kings, JB Group, Lequi Molly, and Pony Club, BCG2, FTSC, and then Hoon Corp. Who can beat Hoon Corp? But as we know, Nigerian Prince, Chuck Norris, Big Daryl. Oh, Big Daryl. It's funny, actually, because Big Daryl Eastlake, Nemo, he used to be a bit of a sucker for the Ferrari. And, yeah, if you remember, if anyone was born when Big Dazza and AJ were doing the Formula One. But we're just having a bit of a reset. And I was going to throw to you, Prince, as I shit on with no end, because this is a very, very Ferrari-dominated track. We've got 3 in that. I think we're waiting for the rest of them to come in, but as we wait for the drivers to load back in, I should say, who can knock off these boys, this twitchy mob? But I've got to say that it's all different. It's a different ball game. It's a full reset, isn't it, for the top 10 shootout?
Yeah, exactly. It's full reset, and you've only got, what is it, 1 or 2 laps, I believe, to get that time in. So you know, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing a McLaren shake up some things. We saw a McLaren in P3, I believe it was, in qualifying just before. So looking forward to hopefully seeing something like that. But then again, you know, we've got a BMW and an Audi and stuff like that amongst the Ferraris. So hopefully they do well too. But yeah, Ferrari dominant.
And 2 minutes and 20, there's one of them. As Nemo wanted to know, congratulations too for Nemo, who's been subscribed now for so long. That subscribed for 3 months at Tier 1. How good is that? He says, where are the other two Ferraris? And I was just about to say that Twitchy's in there, I think. Yep, we've got another Ferrari in there. I think we're just waiting on one more Voodoo and we're good to go.
Yeah, one more Ferrari to hop their way in. I mean, you know, maybe they got lost on their way back to the track or something.
And
you know, maybe that.
If you just you thought that there were cutting edge graphics before, just wait till you see these cutting edge graphics. We're not going to give you a little taste. I should have given them a little taste, Voodoo, but I don't want to give them a taste. I want to give them the whole damn thing, the big sausage. And it's coming up very shortly because these cutting edge graphics from Andrelli are just state of the art. And just wait till we get on the track. And I haven't half talked them up, have I? But typical Ferrari drivers aren't the smartest humans on the planet. Knowing Ferrari, they're probably trying to find 4 wheels and tyres to put on it, Voodoo.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with this new update, I've been surprised by more things, but it does look like we've got all of our top 10 drivers in the lobby now. Final minute. Not long to go.
And we're going to wait and see. Shakedown! Shakedown! Did somebody say shakedown? And I was just kidding, but yes, shakedown. Big news coming out of big sound out of the South Australian town. And we'll wait to get on there. What am I talking about here, Prince? As we count down. And I'll remember that, says Twitchy. And typical Ferrari drivers. Hello, distinct Twitchy, who says hello there. Big hello to Nemo. And great to have you on. You are very quick. If you're out there and you can hear me, you are absolutely killing it tonight. And this is going to be a ripping top 10 shootout. And Andrelli and his graphics are legendary. And the first is Nemo, one of the founders of this channel, because he's got the little number 1 next to his name.
Show them what you got.
And here we go. We are almost ready. Are you nervous, Prince? We are ready to go here for the top 10 shootout.
Or I'm nervous, and I'm sure the driver doing the 10 shootout is also nervous, you know, but hopefully they just get a clean out lap and some glycerin good flying lap.
As here comes Stu Wilson for CFD Racing, the number 572. Let me just get these graphics up. Oh, the graphics! And it's just perfectly positioned. If you're out there, Andrelli, watching, and you need to just pat yourself on the back. As was I talking about giving people a sausage before? Was I? It's, what on earth was happening there? But no. But and Beaky needs a subscription, and somebody help that man out. If you can see his plea all the way from Coringal in the south of Frankston, and 9th and 9th. These two, so they'll be looking to go one better here, you've got to say, in the race on Sunday. Prince, as we see, 572 for CFD Racing. How good are these graphics? This team, what do we know about this mob? Clocaid, Shawnee, full of the Englishmen, and Disco Stu as well. Nemo has gifted a sub to Beaky. And Rugsy says, man, those graphics give me a chubby. And they're getting excited in the chat as we see CFD come around to start their run here, Prince.
Yeah, hopefully he's dialing himself up for a good quality lap here. You know, they've taken E9 in the last 2 rounds, so, you know, they seem to be nice and consistent for top 10 results. So hopefully the Beamer goes well. He'd be making sure his brakes are nice and warm, making sure the tyres are scrubbed in nice and well, because, you know, he's only got 1 or 2 laps to make it count, so let's see what he can do.
Let's see what he can do. He's about to start his run. He's got 1 shot, 1 opportunity. to achieve anything he ever wanted. And let's hope he can capture it, and let's hope he doesn't let it slip. And knees won't be too weak, arms sweaty, and we'll leave Mum spaghetti, because around the first corner, this is what it's all about. Prince, talk us through a lap of Watkins Glen here for CFD.
Yeah, Stu looks like he's gotten a really good run through T1, taking it nice and wide, you know, just on the fringe of track limits. He's making his way into the bus stop at the moment. Bus stop's crucial. If you take a wrong part of the curb, you'll find yourself taking a nice bite out of the barrier. Stu looks like he's gotten through relatively nice though, as he makes his run down.
As we see Team 77 getting ready for their run. Stu, here he comes, CFD, using every bit of the curb and more. You can't go too wide there, because you'll end up into the fence. Big thank you actually as well. 36 viewers tonight, Prince, and absolutely fantastic stuff as we come through to the bottom of the foot section. The boot, I think we like to call it here. Braking, going down the gears here. Last sector of this circuit. What time is it going to be for CFD? CFD Racing, Cloquet, Disco Stu, Shawnee Fuller. And Nemo got hit on the head by a cricket ball last night. And he's a bit susceptible to the short ball, is Nemo. As coming around the final corner, getting a little bit too much curb there. Look, don't run into the barriers. On the outside across the line, what's it going to be? It is going to be a 1 minute 46.037 for Stewie Wilson and CFD Racing. And given the times we've seen tonight, Voodoo, we might see them a little bit quicker than that, but still the pressure's on. You've got to set, you've only got one shot, of course, to get it done. And as we take a look at Team 77, so we don't know quite how competitive that time is going to be, do we, until the rest of them have gone through.
Yeah, he could have just had a slight mistake somewhere that we might not have picked up on too much. But, you know, a lap time is still a lap time, whether he ends up P10 or not. Time will tell, as we've got Darst making his way through. I've got to admit, this Sun Energy livery does look really good, eh?
Very nice indeed. The Sun Energy livery on the Mercedes. Only one Mercedes in the top 10 shootout, because the other one's being sitting in pit lane for the spectator there at the bottom of your screen, yours truly. But 38 people watching, and I hope that every one of them is following this channel. Not sure why I kicked into that New Zealand accent, but Team 77 here, 146.037 is the time to beat, coming through the tip of the toe. Part of the chicane there. Well done, Stu, says Mark Ledwich. Nemo saying nice lap, Stu, as well. But here we go. This is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. The pressure is on. Dask now for Team 77, climbing the hill, a little bit twitchy coming out of that corner. Beautiful camera work there as we come through the last couple of corners, not using too much curb on the outside there, doing very nicely indeed. Driving at 110%, but not going any further than that through the last corner. Here we go. A little bit wide, a bit too wide there, I think, Prince. We'll wait and see how that affects the lap time. Across the line we go. It is a 146.4 for Dask, and that final corner just looking to get a bit too greedy off the curb there and touching the wall, and that's all it takes, Prince.
Yeah, just that little bit too greedy, like you said, you know, just clobbering the wall, just that little bit too much. And unfortunately, you might not think it loses you a bit of time, but, you know, as you saw, it lost a few tenths. But Cydorg and Jono here, coming off a win at Spa during the 6 hours that we almost lost our minds. So, you know, they'd be looking forward to hopefully putting it somewhere up the front row of the grid. But 46ers, there's still time to beat.
Certainly is. Cydorg, BCG1 Racing, just the two of them. Cydorg and Jono Stan, and as we know, 4th in France. And we don't talk about that race because I elected to choose my football commitments over the Australia New Zealand Endurance Series. We don't talk about that, Prince, but these two finished first. Oh, this team, I should say, finished first in Spa. The Spa 6 hours. They took it home last time around.
Yeah, they had a really good drive. You know, a lot of strategy, and you know, things just went their way. So, you know, they'd hopefully be looking to take a result here for the race on Sunday.
As we take a look, Sidog, I think that Kings Racing might have gone out a little bit early, have they? They're not too far behind BCG1 and Sidog here, but we'll wait and see how that pans out. As they on their outlap. Voodoo was the number. Just having a look there, number 188. We'll keep an eye on that. It's about this man though, Sidog, showing very good pace. Should be right on board with these cars. We might do that next time around just to make things interesting. Through the final turn for BCG1, winners last time out in Belgium. And let's take a look at what they can do across the line. I've got a good feeling about this, and it is pole position, provisional pole position for Sidog and BCG1, a 145.227. Now we're getting to the business end, Voodoo.
Yeah, 45.2. Track seems to be gripping up, or either that, the other guys, they still got good laps in, but unfortunately I think they might have had some mistakes. So 45.2, new time to beat, as we've got Mac in the 188 McLaren, one of two McLaren.
One of two inside the top 10 shootout. Zoom! There they go, and through this difficult part of the lap. Oh, there's no pressure at all, is there? And you can see I'm feeling the pressure up here. And Sidog is my hero, says Wilco. Would you dance if I asked you to dance? And come on, Mac Miller. Yes, says John O'Stan. Very, very good. Simon is my hero too, says Nemo. And I can be your hero, baby. And Wilco, oh, is that a mistake there? No, just through the end of the tiptoeing through the end of the boot as he comes out wide. Beautiful camera angles here at Watkins Glen. Number 19 has never looked so good, says Jason Wilkinson. Nemo, I know exactly what you're talking about. And we could change those graphics as well. And you can see there, as we look at Mac Miller, we're looking for the 188, which doesn't seem to be on my screen. This is very strange. Don't seem to have that one. That is strange. I apologise about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're having some technical issues with the graphics at the moment. And sorry, I beg your pardon. No, we're not. There we go. Better late than never as he comes across the line. Oh, it's only good enough for P2. Wow,
yeah,
so we just got those graphics up in time, but P2 not quite close enough there.
Yeah, 2/10. I did see him make a mistake where he seemed to have lost a bit of traction, so maybe he could have taken out P1, but you know, 2/10 provisionally in P2. He'd be happy with that. As we've got Sofa King, they were coming off a P8 last round at Spa, so you know, their results have been getting better and better. First of the Ferraris to be making their lap. So, you know, I wonder whether this is going to be the new benchmark to beat.
And are you seeing what I'm seeing, Voodoo? And it might help if I tell you what I'm seeing, because we've got 41 people watching the top 10 shootout here for round 3 of this Australia-New Zealand Endurance Series. Bang, good stuff, says Wilco. Better get back to the party. Good luck, everybody. Happy birthday to little brother Wilkinson, because the JB group for Sofa King, who's Sofa King bad, 12th in France, 8th in Belgium, and Yickety alongside him. This is for you, Yickety, as we come through the last sector here. We're looking for a 45.227. That is the time to beat. Let's wait and see what he's going to do here. 2-3 corners to go. Let's see what's going on here. We'll click. Oh, no, we won't. I beg your pardon. We'll get enough of that as we'll get back to the action. Apologies. Wrong button. My mistake. As Sofa King now back on the lap. JB Group, where can they put this car in the top 10 shootout? That is the question. Don't run too wide. It's happened again. We've seen a couple of guys in the wall, but across the line, what's it going to be? Good enough for P2. There we have it. So the JB group, Sofa King and Yickety, starting in P2 so far. As we take a look at Fly Sky in the number 99 car. Let's get to this man and see what he can do. Flying solo. Apparently he's being recruited, we hear. Third in France, 19th of course. I think he raced a couple of hours, Prince, before losing his marbles. He wasn't the only one at Spa for the 6-hour race, but he's back solo here again this weekend.
Yeah, it's good to see him still flying that solo flag. I think he was one of the many drivers that managed to die at the top of Radion there. So, you know, hopefully results are going to be a little bit nicer for him tonight as we look. He's looking good throughout his lap. Looks smooth through bus stop. Smooth through the sweepers.
He's looking solid as we take a look now at this man, like we said, solo in the Lequi Moly racing car number 99 through the boot here towards the end part of this lap. It seems that the beautiful flowing first sector here in this part of the lap, the chicane, then we get to the boot. And it's all about getting it right. Only a couple of corners to go. It can all be thrown out the window. And that Ferrari looked a little bit twitchy there, but it's been performing very well. But guess what? This is a turn up for the books. Prince, we've got an Audi on provisional pole position. But we've still got, what do we got now? We've got four Ferraris to go. And Riggsy says, rumour has it, Fly has been picked up now by FTSC. As he comes out of the final corner, you don't want to run too wide. He does it beautifully. Across the line, I've got a good feeling about this one. It is only good enough, though, for P4. And every time I say I've got a feeling about this lap, Prince, it's not quite quick enough. But Fly Sky starting P4 so far.
Yeah, good lap nonetheless. He did make a couple of small mistakes, but then again, he'd be hoping that other people do make mistakes as well. You know, a lot of people, you know, seem to be liking that fence, so to speak, at the exit of the final corner. So, you know, you never know, that might be what he needs to be starting around the middle of the grid.
As Pony Club Racing with Sexy Rexy, Figo and Vintage Racer, the man who I met at Sandown last year, and Pony Club with Figo at the wheel now through the chicane. Is it the bus stop chicane?
I believe it's the bus stop.
Bus stop, we'll go with that as a beautiful exit there, getting a little bit, not quite too much curb, very nicely done. 6 drivers have set times, we've got 4 remaining. As we wait and see here, it's one of those circuits, Voodoo, it's quite bumpy in places, a lot of elevation changes, doesn't take much to make a mistake, but the number 46 Ferrari, so far so good, Prince, it's looking good here.
Yeah, it's looking really planted, you know. That's the one key thing I've been looking at with the majority of these cars is how planted they feel to the track. You know, when this car, the 46 Ferrari, definitely looks the goods, so this might be our new pole position, but we'll see.
We'll wait and see. Still a couple of corners to go here. And Pony Club finished 6th in France. Did not start in Belgium for the 6-hour race there in round 2. A couple of corners to go. What's it going to be? Sexy, Rexy and Vintage. Oh, a little bit of contact with the wall there, but not too much time lost as he comes across the line. Let's have a look at this. It's pole position into the 144s with a 144.940. If you don't mind, Prince, they'll take that any day of the week. A beautiful run there from Figo, provisional pole, sitting with Pony Club in the 46 Ferrari so far.
Yeah, really good lap for him. Hopefully he doesn't continue on and do another lap. But the 44 9s, you know, time to beat, you know. Now we've got Keaton in the car. Someone who we kept our eye on quite closely during the Spa 6 hour. These guys have been a peddling team, being quite quick. So I'm looking forward to maybe seeing this McLaren hopping into the 44s as well.
Let's have a look here through the bus stop. Using every bit of curb available to him, Keaton for BCG2 Racing. And this team with Norm and Nemo and Keaton, number 76 BCG Racing team, finished second in round one of this championship and second at the Spa 6-hour race. And you've got to say, what comes after second? Well, third, what comes before that? That's all they'll be interested in. Can they get another podium? But they'll be wanting to win this one here. And so many Ferraris. Where's all the smiley boys? Yes. Oh, yes. Classic moment from last week. And we lost the plot there, didn't we, for a second there, Prince, last week. But around the final couple of quarters, as Cobb McCool, great to have you with us. As beautifully done there, Keaton. This is looking like a sexy lap there. As the number 76 McLaren. Could we see a McLaren on pole position instead of a Ferrari? Keaton through the final corner. Centimetre perfect as he comes across the line now. What is it going to be? It is pole with a bit to spare, if you don't mind. And 76, we are seeing a McLaren on pole position, provisional pole position here with a 144.400. That is pacey. We're getting to the business end of this one. And then there were two, Prince.
Yeah, you know, we thought it was going to be a Ferrari fest up the front and, you know, Keaton killer lap in the McLaren. So he'd be happy with that. The team's going to be happy with that. You know, now it's on the rest of the Ferraris, you know. Two more drivers to go. We've got Zest here. They took a P5 at Spa. So let's see how they go through bus stop. Hopefully it's smooth and clean. We need a good lap.
And let's have a look as my attention is drawn to the chat. But Zest 1, can he get the bus stop right? Yeah, kind of. We'll take that any day of the week. Matt Simmons, mega lap by Keaton. Awesome work by Sidehawk. Still getting over the news that Matt Simmons won't be joining us for this round of the championship. I responded appropriately with an appropriate GIF in the Discord. But let's have a look at this lap. It's going to be good. It's going to have to be good if it's going to beat a 144.400 as Simon and Matty Simmons, a couple of GT7 boys, absolutely in awe of these boys, that they're even watching this stream. God, I love them. But let's stick to the love on the circuit and whether FTSC can finish P1 here in qualifying through the last couple of corners, up the hill. Just slightly missing the apex there, but still not a bad exit. And this is looking like a good lap, Prince. We've still got a little bit to go here. Couple of corners separating Zesty from the end of the lap, and this could be provisional pole position. A little touch on the wall, just a tap. And he comes across the line. It's P2, so Ferrari P2 and P3. And with Twitchy still to go here, Prince.
Yeah, Twitchy was the man of the hour, made it into the 43s during provisional qualifying to make it into the top 10 shootout. So, you know, he's coming out, all guns blazing. He wants to take this front row of the grid, but, you know, at least we've got a locked out McLaren on the front row of the grid. That's all I'm happy about.
As Hooncorp, driven by Twitchy now, it all comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen. 14th for this team, HC, Hyperdrift, HKS and Twitchy in that team. 14th in France for round one, 7th for the 6 hours of Spa. And Cobb McCool says, let the gushing commence. And I'm not sure what he means by that. But Simon says, is hitting the wall the key to speed? All the Ferraris are doing it. He's figured out their trick. And Mark says, I'm with you, Cam. And Mark Ledwidge watching, big hello to you. This lap, I don't know about you, Prince, but this looks quick.
Yeah, Twitchy's not leaving anything off the track here. He's going all guns blazing. He wants P1.
Certainly
Let's
is.
hope he gets it.
He's leaving no stone unturned in his quest for pole position. He's turning over all the stones, and he's turning them over and using up all the tarmac as well. Zoom! And this is incredible. 45 people are watching this. And only a few corners potentially standing between him and pole position for round 3 of this championship on Sunday afternoon. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. He's looking for a 144.399. That's what he needs to get pole position and knock Keaton and BCG2 off that top spot in the McLaren. Is it going to be a Ferrari 1, 2, 3 out of the final corner? Leaving a little bit on the table there as he comes across the start-finish line. What's it going to be? A 44.380. Wow-wee, what a lap from Twitchy, and that is pole position. That is qualifying done and dusted. A 44.1. That's what Shawnee Fuller was after. What a lap, a 44.380. And they are on pole position. Hooncorp with himself and HC Hyperdrift for the race on Sunday. How close was that qualifying, Prince?
Oh, there was nothing left there. If he had made a contact with the wall, man, that would have been enough. That would have been enough. That would have cost him P1.
Is that a podium, boys? Is that a podium?
That's a podium.
Yeah, let's hope he gets a podium on Sunday at the in Budapest. But wow, he's still happy with that. And Twitchy says a nice ring in for Hooncorp there. And plenty of love in the chat. Distinct, there's your man for pole position. Distinct Twitchy for Sunday afternoon. And he says he still left, he reckons he left half a second on the table there. The bus stop chicane didn't quite work out for him. But still, you can't argue with that pole position, Prince.
Yeah, I mean, we know that he could get into the 43s, so, you know, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that it was half a second. But, no, I mean, look, you've got to secure a lap that's going to put you on the front row of the grid. And, you know, whether it was safer through bus stop, you know, to save dying, you know, I think I'm all for that. But, yeah, Ferrari, McLaren, front row of the grid for Sunday. Let's go.
Let's go. It is going to be absolutely fantastic. Just recapping if you're joining us. Hope you're enjoying your Friday evening or afternoon, wherever you're watching right around the world. And it is Hooncorp and Twitchy, these boys on pole position for the big race on Sunday. And then it is Keaton there and the number 76, and they'll be starting on the front row. Norm, Nemo and Keaton there, second and second in the opening 2 rounds of this season. They'll be looking to go one better come Sunday afternoon. And then it's the Ferrari. We've got the McLaren splitting the Ferraris there, as I nearly forget how to speak. But 27, Andrelli, Will.i.am and Zesto, they are starting in third. And that's going to be fantastic. We'll keep pushing through Pony Club with Figo, being driven by Figo there in 4th. Sidorg in 5th, BCG 1, JB in 6th, Liqui Molly flying solo there in 7th, CFD in 8th, and 9th for Team 77. And that is just me spectating there as we see. That is a wrap for qualifying here, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that really sets us up for an incredible 4 hours. The Kid Buyers, 240 Watkins Glen. It's going to be a fantastic race on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon, Ferrari, McLaren, front row of the grid. You know, another lockout of Ferraris behind. You know, I think they're going to be dominant. I think they're going to be ones to watch. But, you know, like we saw during the Spa race, the 6 hours not long ago, Keaton is quite a peddler during the race. So, yeah, we'll see how we go. Congratulations to Twitchy and Car 37 on taking pole position.
It's going to be fantastic. The drivers leaving the session. We are almost out of time, ladies and gentlemen. We are just about to leave you. But thank you, Twitchy. Great performance. Sofa King, BB 450. Nice commentary, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Looking forward to Sunday. It is a long race too, BB. Anything can happen. And it usually does. Cobb McCool, good job, dudes. See you Sunday. Be there, be there, be there, or be square. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap. It has been fantastic to bring you qualifying and the top 10 shootout for round 3 of this championship. Don't forget, 3 p.m, I think, Eastern time, Prince. We're kicking off on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, around 3 p.m, I guess.
3 p.m.
I don't have a note with me.
There we go, but we'll go with that. Turn up a little bit before 3 because you don't want to miss the action. But that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. we are out of time. We're shutting the stream down. I know it's sad, but we'll be back at Sunday, on Sunday, the 23rd of July Eastern Time for the Kid Buyers Watkins Glen 240. We hope to see you there. But for now, it's goodbye.